What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new on my channel, welcome and welcome to this video. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for clicking on this video and for watching my videos and liking them and sharing them and subscribing. Today I have a face beat. Yeah, you guys, I did the things. But anyway, I didn't literally do everything. I had a little bit of lipstick, which is my mom's lipstick, by the way, and then I put on my mom's hair and I did my brows and earrings. That's all. Everything here is my mom's, well, except the shirt. So yeah, I just needed, I just wanted to look good for Easter, just for the day, even though I'm not going anywhere because the president has decided to extend the lockdown, which is actually quite good. It's good that he's choosing life over the economy and stuff. But anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here today because I'm about to share with you guys my story of deciding to become a chartered accountant and how I got to that decision. So I hope you guys are as excited for this video as I am. If you do like it, please do hit the like button and comment down below and let me know how your journey started and how you decided you're gonna be a chartered accountant. Anyway, let's get on to this. So growing up, I wasn't really okay, let me put it this way. In primary school, right, I went to a very good primary school. I went to a private primary school, and I wasn't really smart. I wasn't smart. I was just an average kid who was trying to get to the next grade, just like everyone else. But when I was in primary, I had a dream and I wanted to become a pilot. I remember telling my mom, my dad, guys, I want to be a pilot. I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be a pilot. Simply, and I think that came from my passion for traveling, because as a pilot, your work requires you to move from one country to another, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to live for travel. So I thought, yeah man, let's do it. Let's become a pilot. And then I got to high school. I changed to high school. The high school I went to is actually a public school, and my dreams were crashed, because this one teacher said to us, for you to become a pilot, you need to be a certain height, right? So you need to be tall and stuff. And if you know me, yeah, I'm not tall. Being tall is not even a gene in my body, in my DNA. So I let go of that dream because I realized I couldn't be a pilot because I was not tall enough. Had I known that actually that's not true, I would have pursued it, maybe. I don't know. So I left the dream, and then I got to high school and grade 8. So me coming from a private primary school actually put me at an advantage when I got to the public high school, because the stuff they were doing in grade 8 I had already done in grade 6 and grade 7. So for me, the whole of grade 8 and the whole of grade 9 was sort of a revision of what I had done in primary, right? So it was a breeze, man. I didn't even had to study because I knew this stuff. I just needed to practice on a continuous basis, but the homeworks were enough for me to keep on practicing. So it so happened that I become one of the best learners in the high school for grade 8 and grade 9 because of that. So I got to grade 10 and I decided to choose my stream. That's where we all choose our subjects, whether you're gonna do the commerce, whether you're gonna do the account, the sciences, right? So when I got to grade 10, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do or what I wanted to become after matric or what I wanted to study. So I decided, let me take the modules that puts me in the best position, right? So I took physics, I took biology, which is life sciences, I had maths as well, and then I decided to take accounting. So these were my 4 main subjects in high school. So I went through grade 10 pretty well, grade 11 pretty well, and then we got to grade 12, and that's when we actually had to make a decision on what we're gonna study. Mind you, I had never heard of the words chartered accountant in my life. until I got to grade 12. I never knew that this is something that even existed. To me, I sort of chose subjects that'll give me the best, or that'll put me in the best position. So if I wanted to do accounting, I had accounting and maths. If I wanted to do engineering, I had physics and maths. If I wanted to do medicine, I had biology and maths. So, I was there. So we got to grade 12, and we, like in high school, when you're in grade 12, there's like career expos, and people come and they motivate you, people from university, like students. I don't know why I never got to go, but it's like definitely something I'd want to do. I'd love to do, actually, to go back to in high school and, like, guys, if you want to be a CA, this is what you can do. Definitely looking to do that. So we had those in high school, and they came and they motivated us. And I remember this one guy came to our high school and he introduced himself. Like, wow, I looked at this guy, I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a chartered accountant. He told us the whole thing. But the thing is, when you're still in grade 12, the jargon is just too much for you to understand. So like when they tell you about audit, and they tell you about finance, and they tell you about accounting and all of that, it's too big for you to understand. Like, you haven't met this before, you don't know. To you, a chartered accountant is somebody who does accounting, because that's what your mind knows, that's what you can sort of look on, right? So he explained the whole thing, but I don't even remember like what he said, what the chartered accountants is about. Like, I do not for the life of me remember. But I saw this man, and it's not like he wasn't as young, like he wasn't as young as I am now, but he was definitely not very old. Maybe let's say he was in his early 30s, right? Yeah, so he came there. He looked so good, guys. He dressed so well. He dressed for the part. If there was somebody who was selling the CA profession, it was definitely him. Like, from his dress code, his car, like, I just loved everything about him. I just loved the physical about him, because that's what I saw at the time. So I remember he spoke to us about it, and then we had a conversation after his presentation, and I got to know him. I don't know if I should say his name. Anyway, okay, doesn't matter. So we introduced each other, and he told me he went to the University of Cape Town. That's where he did his... Actually, he didn't do his BCom. He did a Bachelor of Business Sciences in Cape Town. I think they have that in Cape Town, in UCT, for 4 years, right? So that's what he did. And then he did GDA, which is CTA for most of us. And then he did his articles. So we had a conversation, and we exchanged email addresses. I think at the time, I wasn't even somebody who used email addresses, but like, I was like, there is no way I'm letting this opportunity pass me by. I need to get to know this guy. I need to know what he does, because this looks wow. So yeah, we spoke, and he told me about his journey. He told me where he's from. I want to mention his name in case you guys like go and Google him and trying to stalk him and stuff. But anyway, so that's where for the first time in my life, I knew about the CA profession, right? And then after that career expo, we went to a Tutuka, what do they call it? Like a boot camp of sorts, right? We went to the University of Limpopo for a boot camp for like a week. So we were there. It was a SACA program, and then it was a Tutuka program, actually sponsored by SACA as well. So they told us about the CA profession. That's where I got to learn a lot about it theoretically. I got to learn the process that you have to do the degree, the honors, the 3 years, the 2 board exams. And yeah, it sounded interesting. You see people who are already in university. Somebody say, hey, I'm in 2nd year and I'm doing this thing. I'm like, wow, I want to be you. It was just so amazing at that time. So I learned more about it at the boot camp, and then we got our tutuka forms, and they're like, you can apply for a bursary. Tutuka pays for everything. I was like, wow, this is great, you know. But at the same time, right, as much as we're having these expos about accounting, about all of this, there's also like expos going on about engineering, about medicine, about actuarial sciences. Guys, I was so confused. But I think what stood out for me with the CA profession is they brought somebody who's already a CA. Like, you can see them in flesh and blood. You can see what they drive. You can see how they dress. You can see the type of phone they have. I was like, that is gonna be my life. So yeah, we had, but for engineering and for the other professions, they didn't bring people who were already engineers. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't bring engineers. They brought engineering students. They didn't bring doctors. They brought medicine students. So I think, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I didn't see the end goal with those professions. I saw the end goal with the CA profession because they brought somebody who's already a CA. That's how it worked in my mind. So the engineering and the medicine and the actuary were also good options. Although I had already heard the rumor about actuary in my high school, like actuary is difficult and stuff. I've already had that rumor, and I've already decided that I'm staying away. Okay, so I'd already decided that I'm gonna stay away from actuarial sciences. I'm not even gonna entertain it. And then yeah, man, expos went on. We got to learn like the engineering field. But now at the end of my matric year, you know, like when I was now, not at the end, but like when I was now trying to apply to universities, I was so confused. Like, I had never been that confused in my life. I don't know if I want to be a CA, whether I should do engineering, whether I should do medicine. I had these three choices. So what I did is I applied for accounting, definitely at the University of Cape Town, because the man I saw this from studied at the University of Cape Town. So I applied to UCT, but instead of applying for the business science degree, I just went for the normal BCom accounting. And then I applied for that in UCT. I also applied for it at Wits, and I applied for it at UP. So these were my three options. And then so these were all my first choices at these three universities. No, at UP it was my first choice. At UCT it was my first choice. At Wits, accounting was my second choice. At Wits, I applied for industrial engineering because I thought, hey, if, right, accounting doesn't work out, I can always do industrial engineering because it's not as hardcore as the rest of the engineerings, and it's sort of similar to the accounting, and you know, there's a bit of finance going on and stuff. So I applied for industrial first choice at Wits and accounting second choice. And then for UCT and UP, accounting was first choice. My second choices were all engineering, right? So the thing is, if I don't get into accounting, I'm gonna do engineering. I was open to any of them, you know, but I think in matric, my mind was, I'm going to Cape Town. I'm gonna walk exactly in the paths of this man that I have seen, and I want to become him. That was the goal. Like, that was it. So I spoke to my parents, and you know, when we were now results, we've written our exam, and it's January, and we're waiting for results, and we're now deciding, where do you want to go? How are you gonna get there? Do you know somebody there who's gonna pick you up from the airport? Blah 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 blah. At that time, when I was in matric, my cousin was in UCT. She was doing her first year, right, when I was in matric. So she was doing her first year in UCT. She struggled so much, right, at UCT, that at the end of her first year, she decided to come back home. Like, it was just so overwhelming adjusting from the kind of place that we live to a life in Cape Town and being a student and had taking responsibility for your own life, for your own studies and stuff. Like, just that whole transition for her was just too much. And then she decided at the end of her first year that, you know what, I'm not doing this again, I'm going back. I'm gonna go to a university closer to home and stuff. I think she ended up coming back to UJ. I think, yeah. So while that was happening, in the same year that she was now deciding to come back home, I was in my mind deciding to go to Cape Town. So my parents are like, you know what, you're not going to Cape Town. I'm like, but why? Right? And they're like, because first of all, Cape Town is so far from home. Secondly, your cousin who decided she also wanted to go to Cape Town has now changed her mind and she's now decided to come back home because of how difficult it is. Now remember, when you're still in grade 12, you think, I just want to go as far away from home as possible. You don't think about what will happen when you're there and how you're going to transition and all of the things that are going to be new and stuff. You just want to leave. So that was me in my mind. I was like, but I'm not her. You don't know how I will cope when I'm there. Just give me a chance. Let me go and see what happens. And they were like, no, you're not going. So obviously they knew that I had applied to Verts and UP, and then they were like, these are your options. We're not letting you go to Cape Town because of these reasons. And I was like, okay, I'm an obedient child, right? You know. So I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. I'm gonna give up Cape Town. But then the thing is, if I give up Cape Town, my only one other option to do accounting is UP. Because at Verts, my first choice is industrial engineering, right? So results came back and I passed really well. I think I got a bachelor pass, obviously. That's how I got to do the degree. And UP called and they're like, hey, we got your result, we've finally accepted you, final acceptance, and we are giving you 16,000 rand bursary for your performance, whatever. Showed that to my parents and they're like, this is where you're going because your fees are already low. So I'm like, can I just, like, let's see what Cape Town's got to say. Maybe they're giving me a higher amount. But then obviously my parents had made up their minds about Cape Town and I couldn't go. So I ended up going to tax to study accounting sciences, and that's how the decision was made. Like, I wish I had a better compelling story for you guys, but honestly, for me, I saw the end goal with the CA career and I saw me being that person. I think more than anything, I don't know, maybe if I had seen a doctor, I would have related as well and maybe seen if that's somebody I want to become. But yeah, man, like, just seeing the guy, although what I saw was like definitely material things, but I just saw the caliber in his physique and sort of imagined the state of his finances, judging basically by the type of car he was driving. Girl, I was sold, okay? So yeah, like, I saw the end goal and I decided that's what I want to be. I don't know, maybe if I had seen an engineer and maybe they had a fancier car, I would have decided to be an engineer. I don't know. But yeah, I saw the end goal and I decided that's what I want to be in my life. That's what, like, I want to go back to my community in that state, and I want other kids to want to be like me. I don't know if that makes sense, but I was so inspired. So yeah, I read up on it. I read up on the accounting profession. I went to career expos, I went to exhibitions, and I learned more and more about it. And the more I learned, the more I discovered that actually it's a good way to change the world. It's a good way to be involved in the economics of the country, the finances, the reporting. It's just great. Like, I got to learn more about the profession obviously in my university years more than anywhere in my life, but definitely I fell in love with it from day one. Or maybe I fell in love with the person who was the CA. But anyway, so that's my story. I don't know if that makes sense. Or like, guys, I'm really interested in knowing how you guys decided to do accounting. Like, was it because you did like the commerce streams and the only plausible solution was to do accounting? You could have done economics, you could have done marketing, you could have done logistics, you could have done anything, but why chartered accountancy? If you like this video, please do give it a massive thumbs up. I know I spoke a lot, but yeah, that is my story, and that is me deciding to be the person that you guys see behind this camera today. And hopefully I will get my designation and I will go out there and I will inspire some kid and they would want to be like me. And yeah, bye.